Welcome. Today, we're diving into the concept of due process as it relates to government benefits. If you've ever wondered what protections you have when dealing with government programs like Social Security, unemployment, or food assistance, understanding due process is key. This principle ensures that the government can't take away your benefits arbitrarily. Instead, there are rules and procedures in place to protect your rights. Let's start by exploring what due process actually means and why it matters so much in the context of government-provided benefits. Due process is a constitutional guarantee found in the 5th and 14th Amendments of the U.S. Constitution. It means that before the government can deprive you of life, liberty, or property, including government benefits, they must follow fair procedures. This includes giving you notice, an opportunity to be heard, and a chance to challenge decisions. Due process is a fundamental part of the legal system, ensuring fairness and preventing abuse of power. When it comes to government benefits, due process acts as a safeguard for individuals relying on these programs. The legal foundation for due process in government benefits comes from the U.S. Constitution. The Fifth Amendment applies to the federal government, while the 14th Amendment extends these protections to actions by state governments. Over time, the Supreme Court has interpreted these amendments to require that certain procedures must be followed before the government can take away benefits. This legal framework is what ensures that individuals are treated fairly and that their rights are respected when interacting with government agencies. A key question is whether government benefits are considered a property interest. The Supreme Court has ruled that certain benefits, once granted, become a property right. This means you can't be deprived of them without due process. For example, if you receive Social Security or unemployment benefits, you have a property interest in those payments. The government can't just stop them without following fair procedures. This recognition is crucial because it triggers the protections of due process whenever the government seeks to terminate or reduce your benefits. Government benefits come in many forms, including Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, unemployment insurance, food stamps, and housing assistance. Each of these programs provides essential support to millions of Americans. Because these benefits are so important, the law recognizes your right to due process before any changes are made to your eligibility or payment amount. Understanding the types of benefits covered helps clarify when due process protections apply and what you can expect if your benefits are at risk. One of the most important aspects of due process is the requirement that you receive notice before your benefits are changed or terminated. This notice must be clear, timely, and provide enough information for you to understand what's happening and why. The government must explain the reasons for the action and give you a chance to respond. Without proper notice, you might not have the opportunity to defend your rights or correct any mistakes. Notice is the first step in ensuring fairness in the process. Due process also guarantees your right to be heard. This means you must have a real chance to present your side of the story before your benefits are taken away. Usually, this involves a hearing where you can provide evidence, call witnesses, and argue your case. The hearing doesn't have to be a formal court trial, but it must be fair and impartial. The opportunity to be heard is a cornerstone of due process, ensuring that decisions are not made without considering your perspective. Another key element of due process is having an impartial decision maker. The person or panel deciding your case must not have a personal stake in the outcome. This helps ensure that decisions are based on facts and law, not bias or favoritism. Impartiality builds trust in the process and helps guarantee that everyone is treated fairly, regardless of their background or circumstances. If you believe the decision maker is biased, you have the right to raise that concern. If you disagree with a decision about your government benefits, due process gives you the right to appeal. This means you can ask for a higher authority to review your case. The appeals process provides another layer of protection, making sure that mistakes can be corrected and that your rights are fully considered. Appeals can involve written submissions, additional hearings, or even court review, depending on the program and the issue involved. Timeliness is another important aspect of due process. The government must act within a reasonable time frame when making decisions about your benefits. Delays can cause unnecessary hardship, especially when people rely on these benefits for basic needs. Due process requires that procedures move forward without unreasonable delays, so you're not left waiting indefinitely for a decision that affects your livelihood. Due process often requires that decisions about your benefits be provided in writing. A written decision explains the reasons for the action, the evidence considered, and your rights to appeal. This transparency helps you understand what happened and what steps you can take next. Written decisions are an important record that can be used if you need to challenge the outcome or seek further review. Let's look at Social Security as an example. If the government wants to stop or reduce your Social Security benefits, they must send you a notice explaining the proposed action and the reasons behind it. You have the right to request a hearing and present evidence before a decision is made. This process ensures that you're not left in the dark and that your side of the story is heard before any changes take effect. Unemployment benefits are another area where due process applies. If your benefits are denied or terminated, you must receive a written notice explaining why. You also have the right to appeal the decision and attend a hearing. These protections help ensure that mistakes or misunderstandings can be corrected and that you're treated fairly throughout the process. Food assistance programs, like SNAP, also require due process. If your benefits are reduced or stopped, you must be notified in advance and given a chance to challenge the decision. This process is designed to prevent errors and ensure that people who depend on these benefits are not unfairly deprived of support. Housing assistance programs, such as Section 8, also follow due process rules. If your housing voucher is at risk, you must be given notice and an opportunity to respond. Hearings are available to contest decisions, and written explanations are provided. These steps help protect vulnerable individuals and families from losing their homes without a fair process. A landmark Supreme Court case, Goldberg v. Kelly, 1970, established that due process applies to government benefits. The court ruled that recipients of welfare benefits must be given notice and a hearing before their benefits are terminated. This case set the standard for how due process is applied in benefit programs and continues to influence policies today. There are two types of due process: procedural and substantive. Procedural due process focuses on the steps the government must follow before taking action, like notice and hearings. Substantive due process, on the other hand, deals with whether the government's actions are fair and reasonable in themselves. Both types play a role in protecting your rights, but procedural due process is most relevant when it comes to government benefits. At a minimum, due process requires notice and an opportunity to be heard. The exact procedures can vary depending on the type of benefit and the seriousness of the action being taken. In some cases, more formal hearings are required, while in others, a written response may be enough. The key is that the process must be fair and give you a real chance to defend your rights. Several factors influence what due process requires in a given situation. These include the importance of the benefit, the risk of error, and the government's interest in efficient administration. Courts balance these factors to decide what procedures are necessary. For example, more protections may be required for benefits that are essential to survival, like food or housing assistance. Administrative hearings are a common way to resolve disputes over government benefits. These hearings are less formal than court trials, but still provide important protections. You can present evidence, question witnesses, and make arguments. An impartial official reviews the case and issues a decision. Administrative hearings are designed to be accessible and efficient, while still upholding your due process rights. You have the right to be represented by a lawyer or advocate during hearings about your benefits. While the government isn't required to provide free legal counsel in most benefit cases, you can hire your own attorney or seek help from legal aid organizations. Having representation can help you navigate complex rules and present your case more effectively. In disputes over government benefits, the burden of proof often falls on the government to show why your benefits should be reduced or terminated. This means the agency must provide evidence and justify its actions. You also have the right to present your own evidence and challenge the government's case. The burden of proof is an important protection that helps prevent wrongful loss of benefits. Gathering and presenting evidence is a key part of defending your rights in benefit disputes. This can include documents, records, witness statements, and other proof supporting your case. Keeping good records and organizing your evidence can make a big difference in the outcome of your hearing or appeal. The more prepared you are, the better your chances of a fair result. If your due process rights are violated, there are remedies available. You can appeal the decision, request a new hearing, or even file a lawsuit in court. Courts can order the government to restore your benefits, provide compensation, or change its procedures to prevent future violations. These remedies help enforce the protections that due process is meant to provide. While due process provides important protections, it's not unlimited. The government can set reasonable rules and procedures as long as they are fair and consistent. Some benefits may have stricter eligibility requirements or shorter appeal deadlines. Understanding these limits can help you navigate the system and avoid losing your rights through missed deadlines or incomplete paperwork. In rare cases, the government can take immediate action without prior notice or hearing, especially in emergencies. For example, if there's evidence of fraud or a threat to public safety, benefits may be suspended first, with a hearing provided afterward. Even in these cases, due process still requires that you get a chance to challenge the action as soon as possible. If the government suspects fraud or misrepresentation, it can take steps to protect public funds. However, even in cases of suspected fraud, you are entitled to due process. This means you must be notified of the allegations and given a chance to respond before permanent action is taken. The process must still be fair and based on evidence. Due process also requires that procedures be accessible to everyone. Notices and hearings must be provided in a language you understand, and accommodations should be made for people with disabilities. This ensures that all individuals, regardless of background or ability, have a fair chance to protect their rights and participate in the process. Administrative agencies are responsible for managing government benefit programs and enforcing due process protections. They create rules, process applications, and handle disputes. Agencies must balance efficiency with fairness, making sure that procedures are accessible and that individuals have a real opportunity to be heard. If you're not satisfied with the outcome of an administrative hearing or appeal, you may have the right to seek judicial review in court. Courts can examine whether the agency followed proper procedures and respected your rights. Judicial review is an important check on government power, ensuring that due process is upheld at every stage. Public policy plays a role in shaping due process protections. Lawmakers and agencies must consider the needs of individuals, the risk of errors, and the cost of procedures. The goal is to create a system that is fair, efficient, and sustainable. Ongoing debates about the balance between individual rights and government efficiency continue to shape how due process is applied. Technology is changing the way due process is delivered. Online applications, virtual hearings, and electronic notices are becoming more common. While these tools can improve access and efficiency, they also raise new challenges, such as ensuring everyone has the technology and skills needed to participate. Agencies must adapt to these changes while maintaining fairness and accessibility. Protecting your personal information is an important part of due process. Government agencies must keep your records confidential and use them only for legitimate purposes. Privacy protections help build trust in the system and prevent misuse of sensitive information. If your privacy is violated, you may have the right to seek remedies through appeals or legal action. Certain groups such as children, the elderly, and people with disabilities may have additional protections in the due process system. Laws and regulations often require extra steps to ensure that these individuals are not unfairly disadvantaged. For example, guardians or advocates may be appointed to help represent their interests during hearings or appeals. Advocacy organizations play a vital role in protecting due process rights. They provide information, legal assistance, and support to individuals navigating the benefits system. These organizations also work to improve policies and raise awareness about the importance of due process. If you need help, reaching out to an advocacy group can be a valuable resource. Despite the protections of due process, individuals often face challenges in practice. These can include confusing paperwork, short deadlines, lack of access to legal help, and language barriers. Understanding your rights and seeking assistance early can help you overcome these obstacles and ensure that you receive fair treatment. Due process protections continue to evolve as new laws and court decisions shape the landscape. Recent developments include expanded access to virtual hearings, updated notice requirements, and new protections for vulnerable populations. Staying informed about these changes can help you better understand your rights and responsibilities. Due process is not unique to the United States. Many countries have similar protections in their legal systems, though the details may vary. International human rights agreements also recognize the importance of fair procedures when it comes to government benefits. Comparing systems around the world can offer insights into best practices and areas for improvement. To sum up, due process is a fundamental protection that ensures fairness when the government makes decisions about your benefits. It requires notice, a chance to be heard, impartial decision makers, and the right to appeal. These protections help prevent mistakes and abuse, giving you confidence that your rights will be respected. If you're facing changes to your government benefits, remember to read all notices carefully, keep copies of important documents, and respond promptly to deadlines. Seek help from legal aid or advocacy organizations if you need assistance. Being proactive and informed is the best way to protect your rights and ensure a fair process. There are many resources available to help you understand due process and your rights with government benefits. Government websites, legal aid organizations, and advocacy groups offer guides, hotlines, and online tools. Taking advantage of these resources can make a big difference if you ever need to challenge a decision or navigate the benefit system. Advocacy is essential for protecting and expanding due process rights. Individuals, organizations, and communities all play a role in holding the government accountable and ensuring that everyone receives fair treatment. By staying informed and involved, you can help strengthen the system for yourself and others. As society and technology evolve, so too will the ways we protect due process rights. Ongoing legal and policy changes will continue to shape the landscape. Staying informed and engaged is the best way to ensure that your rights are protected now and in the future. Due process is more than just a legal requirement. It's a promise of fairness and respect for everyone who depends on government benefits. By understanding your rights and the procedures in place, you can better protect yourself and your family. Remember, knowledge is power when it comes to navigating the benefits system. Thank you for joining us on this journey through due process and government benefits. We hope you now have a clearer understanding of your rights and the protections available to you. Stay informed, stay proactive, and remember that due process is there to ensure fairness for all.